I didn't look just a minute ago, but didn't have time, but I bet it's close to 2 inches, about 1.5 inches this morning.
Really?
Mhm. Here along the river, I don't know what I had it for.
I see. All right, it's 7:30. We'll go ahead and open up the meeting of the Raleigh County Planning Board and the Board of Zoning Appeals. At this time, I'll have Rita read the conduct order for the meeting.
Sure. The following applies to all meetings of the Riley County Planning Board, Board of Zoning Appeals. Public comments shall be limited to no more than 5 minutes per speaker. The time limit does not include questions asked by board members. The chair reserves the right to extend speaker time should the situation warrant doing so. All comments should be directed to the board. All speakers must go to the podium to make comments, stating their full name and address before beginning. Public comment shall be made only during the designated time on the agenda at any public meeting. Public comments are out of order if made outside the designated time on the agenda of a public meeting and without the speaker having first been recognized by the chair. Remarks of individual speakers shall not be simply repetitive of identical comments made by prior speakers. Verbal or visual personal attacks on private citizens, staff, or board members shall not be allowed. Speakers who violate any one or more of these rules will be asked to end their comments. And speakers or non-speakers who attend the meeting whose conduct disrupts the orderly and dignified content of any public meeting at any time will be asked by the chair to leave such meeting.
All right, thank you, Rita. So at this time, we'll go ahead and I'll ask for, is there any public comments? Comments that other than what is on the agenda for this evening? Otherwise, I see none. We'll move on to our second item, which is our consent agenda. We need to consider the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 meeting. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to those?
Move approval.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the April 8th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Move on to the second item underneath the consent agenda to consider the report of fees for the month of April of 2024. Does anybody have any questions for Bob or Lisa about?
Yeah, Lisa, on the monthly building permits, an $8 million bond.
Yes, sir, that amount is correct.
Okay.
Wowzers.
That's a barn.
Yeah, I can tell you.
It is a 2-story barn.
Goodness.
Okay, all right, good luck on that. Is there any other comments or questions? If not, can I have a motion to accept the report of fees?
I'll move that motion.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we consider the report of fees for the month of April of 24. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried, passes. All right, at this time, can I have let's see here. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Raleigh County Planning Board and Board of Zoning Appeals and reconvene as a Raleigh County Board of Zoning Appeals?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the joint meeting of the Raleigh County Planning Board and Board of Zoning Appeals and reconvene as Raleigh County Board of Zoning Appeals. All right, so our first item of business tonight is petition 24-020 for Robert M. Taylor. Bob? Give us the report.
You know, the nice thing about a new projector, you don't have to have all the lights out to see what's on the screen. It's kind of nice. Kudos to our IT department. Good evening, folks. On behalf of Turtle Creek Shooting Park LLC, Rob Taylor has made application with Raleigh County Planning and Development requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback requirement from 25 feet to 17 feet and to reduce the building setback requirement from the center line of a principal arterial, which is Highway 24, from 150 feet to 142 feet, and to reduce the building setback requirement from 50 feet to 17 feet beyond the right-of-way line of principal arterial. These measurements, as you will find out, have changed, been modified. The subject property is generally located approximately 3,875 feet west of Marlette Avenue on the north side of Tuttle Creek Boulevard. The reasons for this request is actually twofold, of which I will get to momentarily. First, a brief history of the site. Tuttle Creek Shooting Park is a multi-building business located on a 10.27 acre top tract with direct access to Tuttle Creek Boulevard. Business has been in operation since 1967. A building permit was issued in 1969 for the first of the several buildings built at the site. This was the first segment of the clubhouse. In 1994, a building permit was issued to allow a mobile home to be placed on the property to be used as a residence for the park maintenance person. In August of 2004, building permit was issued for a second addition onto the existing clubhouse. Back a few years in February of 2018, a building permit was issued for a storage unit building to replace the former mobile home. October of 2018, a building permit was issued for yet another addition to the clubhouse. So there's quite a bit of action going on here. The applicant wishes to construct another addition onto the south end of the existing clubhouse. Concerned about meeting the setback requirements, the applicant had the setbacks indicated on the site plan. Fortunately, it was discovered that although the proposed addition will be predominantly in line with the storage unit building situated southwest of the clubhouse, it ultimately would not meet the building setbacks for the tract. Additionally, it was also discovered, that there was an error in the construction of the aforementioned storage building. Although the building permit stated that the measurements were taken and flags were used to demarcate the 50-foot setback from the right-of-way of Tuttle Creek Boulevard. The presumed errors in locating the structure resulted in the storage unit building being built within all three setbacks. I'll get to that in just a second. Again, in October 2020, the property was rezoned from AG agricultural. Excuse me, this is not correct. But there are no variances, conditional uses, or special uses associated with the property. There is no request to rezone the subject property at this time. There's no requirement for this. The Raleigh County Fire District Number 1 will serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Tuttle Creek Fire Station, Station 12, located at 4120 Highway 13. Okay, so this is where it gets a little dicey, so I want to make clear as to what's going on. The original request was focused on the addition to the clubhouse. And this was the site plan that was submitted with the application by SMH. This was their understanding of what the applicant was desiring. And they were, I think, originally thinking it was going to line up with the south elevation, if you will, of this building here. When it was extended out, we were doing the measurements off of these lines here. There are three separate variances into one, actually. There's the 25-foot setback for the zoning to C2. Then there are two based on this principal arterial. This is 150 feet from the center line, which puts you at the 25-foot setback in this particular circumstance or situation. And then there's the 50 from the right-of-way line, 50 foot setback from the right-of-way line. So there's two here. The way the regulations state this is it's either or, whichever is greater, and that's what they have to meet. unfortunately, when a building encroaches upon either one or both of these, a variance is required for each of those requirements. So in a sense, any building that is extending within these setbacks, it requires a variance. In this particular case, we were thinking of the attention was on this one because it, as you can see, it extended further south than this building here. After meeting with the applicant and getting a clear picture of, a clear vision, if you will, of what he wanted to do, it turns out that it was not the extension into the right of way or beyond the 150 foot, like as I had mentioned. It's actually the building was going to be proposed to do this. So this would meet the 150 and the 25, just not the 50. But then the focus became on this existing building. By the way, again, let me reiterate, this has been there 6-7 years now. And again, it was on the building permit that it was flagged out. So there had to have been a mistake in the interpretation of what that flag meant. That was marking out the 50 foot. It was specific to the 50 foot building setback. But through more precision measuring through the surveyor, it was discovered that even this corner down here did not meet the 25 foot setback. And thus, because the 25 foot setback and the 150 foot setback line up on the same line, it would not meet the 150 foot setback at this point. It's just off, just by a little bit. We're talking about a foot. And of course, the 25 foot between the 150 and the 50, it didn't meet that at all. So with that, there's been a little bit of an adjustment in the request. So it's actually reduced, and our focus is actually in bringing this building here into compliance. So instead of 25 to 17, it's 25 to 24. It's off by 1 foot. And we're just kind of rounding down to that 24 foot. And same with the 150, that means that we're looking at 149 if that line lines up. And then, of course, instead of going from 50 to 25 to meet that line, because of this, we're looking at going from 50 down to 24 to bring this building into compliance. If this is done, they would be able to, bring this building into compliance and allow this structure to be built in compliance with the setback requirements. Any questions so far on this one? This has been a little funky, but this is kind of how it would look at. So here's the final site plan with the adjustments made to the location of this proposed addition. Again, regardless of the proposed addition, the variance as described is still necessary to bring the existing building into compliance. Few pics of the property. This is the clubhouse, gun shop, and the entrance there too. The proposed addition would be to the left of the photo where the air conditioner is situated. This pic shows the parking area and the end of one of the parking areas and the end of the building of the clubhouse gun shop where the addition will go. It also shows the existing storage unit building in the background there. The applicant is proposing the addition will be in line with the south elevation of the existing storage building. All goes well. And another look at the north right-of-way line of Tuttle Creek Boulevard. The flag south of the fence line, kind of see it. This thing there. That's actual right-of-way. It's not the fence. The fence is within or outside of the right-of-way, I should say. Yeah, in case anyone is wondering about the sign itself, the regulations exclude signs when it comes to these additional setback requirements. So 150 foot, 50, abutting a certain classification of roads. Okay, so the anytime we have a situation like this that abuts or a request that abuts a KDOT highway, we contact KDOT to see if there would be any issues. And in your staff report, you should see that we contacted Matt McBride. And he said that there's nothing in the right of way, so they're happy about that. That the existing building's been there quite a while, no negative or adverse impacts. It's not blocking any site distance, it's not creating any traffic issues or anything on that one. And it's not creating any other impacts other than. So, and again, I think this is more of a discovery thing. I don't think that we would have actually known that it was any different if we hadn't had the proposal for the addition onto the clubhouse, and that which suspected maybe that may be really close to not meeting the setback or something on that one. So it's again a process of discovery. So after reviewing the criteria set forth in the staff report, staff recommends that the Board of Zoning Appeals approve the request for a variance to reduce the front yard setback requirement from 25 feet to 24 feet, and to reduce the building setback requirement from the center line of a principal arterial from 150 feet to 149 feet, and to reduce the building setback requirement from 50 feet to 24 feet beyond the right-of-way line of a principal building, or principal arterial. That's all I have. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to try to field those.
Eric, you got it.
No.
Rita,
No.
Joe.
I'm just glad Bob was able to explain this.
Yeah, Jack.
So was I. I'm good.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad you're clearing things up for us.
Well, I apologize for the confusion. And,
As long as you know what's going on.
a lot of stuff that was sent out, and then we got the new information, and we gotta make this right.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see again, the attention went from the new structure to
The old structure.
Yeah.
But I think years ago, we dealt with this one other time with another thing that we found.
Yeah.
We was gonna do one thing and then found out that the other deal wasn't in compliance, and we had to really clean the mess up. So, yeah, so. All right. So, okay, thanks, Bob, for your staff report. So at this time, would the applicant like to come up and say anything, or if he's good with it, that's entirely up to you. So,
Once again, I'm Rob Taylor, 6364 Toggle Creek Boulevard. My son and I, JR, are the owners of the property. We're trying to put 10 pounds of flour in a 5-pound sack is about what this amounts to. And every time we grow and every time we get bigger, you can see we build more and we do more. So all we're trying to do is make things better for our customers and make things better for us too. And we appreciate anything you could do for us. So if anybody has any questions, I'm ready to answer. Thank you.
thank you.
Bob.
All right. Okay, so I just gotta ask the question here. So I don't see any other people out here in the audience. Is there any proponents within 1,000 feet, which I don't see it, and is there any opponents within 1,000 feet? All right, if not, does anybody got anything else for Bob? Otherwise, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion then to close the public?
I'll second.
Then moved and seconded that we close the public hearing and go into our deliberation mode. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, 5-0. All right. I guess we'll start with you, Eric, and we'll just go down the line again. So,
After a totally confusing explanation, I kind of think, I got what it is, and I don't think it's a huge deal, so.
Rita?
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna clean it up and make the existing and proposed buildings in compliance, or at least
Given the
well,
variance.
give them variance.
Joe?
I can almost see from the looks of that as to where the mistake could have been made when they were doing the measurements. Because you're making up a straight line to a curved line. I can see 11 inches difference just in that little bit of an arc. But I don't have any problems with this now. It's good.
Jack?
That looks good to me.
Okay.
Bookkeeping again.
Okay, I don't have any question or any problems with it either. Yeah, so I'm just glad Bob cleared all that up, so.
Explain it one more time.
Okay,
See you after class.
if not, so this is just, let's see here, we don't have,
Check out the, I wanted to.
I'm looking-
bring this up as well.
okay, go ahead, I'm looking for the.
Yeah.
Right there.
Bring up the staff
Correct.
report.
Well, I'll worry about him correcting, yeah, that's,
Where'd that go?
got one
Go to
thing.
the LDR staff report
Oh, here's it. Yeah, I was looking for.
and then go up and you'll see the Taylor staff report up at the top. Up to the top bar, Bob.
Sorry, moving stuff around.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so here's the update. So here's the new recommendation here, and I can size this a little bit bigger so you can see what.
All righty, it's right there, a little bit, one more down, we'll click one more down, so there you go, that'll work.
See that?
Yep,
Right, help.
do I have a motion to,
Approve what it says.
yeah,
Writing up the-
to approve the
I saw move.
the Board of Zoning Appeals approval for the variance for the setback. Well, reduce the front yard setback requirements from 25 to 24 and reduce the building setback requirement from the center line of the principal arterial Highway 24 from 150 feet to 149 feet and reduce the building setback requirements from 50 feet to 24 feet beyond the right of way line of the principal arterial of Highway 24. So is there any other discussion about the motion?
No.
If not, do I have,
I'll second.
You got a
okay,
second.
it's been moved and seconded. Eric made the motion. Joe seconded that we approve the request for the variance as stated in the staff report.
Yes.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried, 5-0.
Okay, I need you to
Okay.
sign the variance.
No, Eric, you got it. Just not on the top line.
You don't want me to sign your name?
No. All right. Good luck.
Thank you all very, very much. Appreciate you taking the time to
You
do that.
bet.
Thank you.
Someday you're gonna grow out of there, then what do? You have to go back to the north side.
Already own stuff to the east.
Yeah,
Thank you all
you-
very much. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good evening. All right. Now. I need to have a motion that we, let's see here. Okay. We need to adjourn the meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals and convene as the Riley County Planning Board.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting of the Raleigh County Planning or the Raleigh County Board of Zoning Appeals and convene as Raleigh County Planning Board. All those in favor say aye.
Thank
you.
All those opposed, motion carried 5-0. Our second item of business this evening is for a replat, petition 24-019 for Edward and Shyla Fields. If I said that right. Bob, would you like to give us the staff report on this petition?
Sure.
Hopefully, it's a lot clearer than the last one.
I can read it back.
Not as convoluted.
You can read it backwards, okay.
Okay, once again, good evening. Edward and Charlotte Field have made an application with the Raleigh County Planning and Development requesting to replat lots 27, 31, 32 of Mobile Gardens, along with lots 1 and 2 of Mobile Gardens Unit 2, together into one lot. As a reminder, it is the responsibility of the planning board to make finding that the final plat meets the minimum requirements of the subdivision regulations found in the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations. Okay, the subject site is generally located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Freeman Road and Freeman Circle, and that's just off of Cove Road. The subject property was originally platted as lots 27 through 32 of Mobile Gardens in June of 1964. In February 2005, lots 28 through 30 were replatted as lots 1 and 2 of Mobile Gardens Unit 2. Lot 27 is currently developed with a mobile home, as are lots 1 and 2 and lots 31 and 32. The applicant wishes to combine the aforementioned lots into a single lot, eliminating all abandoned mobile homes, and build a new site-built home on the new lot. There is not a request or a requirement to rezone the property at this time. Speaking of the zoning, the property was rezoned from G1 general agricultural to A3 single-family residential during the zoning district conversion process of 1974. The A3 single-family residential zoning district was renamed to SF3 single-family residential on January 1st of 2022. There are no variances, conditional uses, or special uses associated with this property. Raleigh County Fire District Number 1 will continue to serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Tuttle Creek Fire Station located at 5020 Tuttle Creek Boulevard. The septic site has an ISO rating of 6, as it is located within 5 road miles of a fire station. A first order stream, Wolf Creek, shown here in gold, runs along the far southwestern corner of the subject property. The lot will be subject to the riparian buffer requirements of section 6.3 of the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations. As a result of the presence of Wolf Creek, a very small portion of the southwest corner of the proposed lot is located within the designated floodway, as shown in the green hatch. This is the final plat illustrating the orientation and location of the new lot boundary. Although the lot lines and building setback lines will be vacated with this action, there's an existing 10-foot utility easement located at the southwestern corner of the site that will not be vacated with this replat. The lot is served by rural water and an on-site septic system. The replat will increase the size of the individual lot enough to meet the area requirements of the sanitary code. A few pics of the property. This is standing at the southeast corner of the proposed lot along Freeman Road, looking west at the applicant's home. Mature trees beyond the mobile home are part of that Wolf Creek riparian area. Turning to my right, looking northward along Freeman Road, this is the driveway into the lot and the detached garage that serves the home. A closer look at the driveway and garage with the unoccupied mobile homes in the background. Closer look at the unoccupied mobile homes that will be removed with the applicant's chicken coop between them. And finally, this is at the corner of Freeman Road and Freeman Circle. As mentioned, these mobile homes are scheduled to be removed prior to the recording of the final plat. Planning board sees fit to approve it. Staff suggests that that be a condition of approval. One last point of interest here, the garage located here that will remain. And this mobile home will remain while the new house is being built as a construction trailer. Once the house is built, the mobile home will need to be removed in order for the home to receive a certificate of occupancy. That's how that will work. Staff recommends the planning board approve the final plat of Michaela 2024 edition as it has been determined that it meets the minimum requirements of the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations, particularly the subdivision regulations and the Raleigh County Sanitary Code. Condition that the unoccupied mobile homes are removed prior to the recording of the plat. That's all I have.
Jack, you got
Questions for me?
Jack, you have anything, Bob?
I don't think so. So makes sense to me, clean up the lot, build a home on it.
Okay. Yeah, no questions from Bob.
Nothing for me.
Eric?
I like it.
I'll have to agree with that. Yes, it looks like a very, very good idea. So, all right. At this time, would the applicant like to come forward? If you want to say something, you can. If you don't, that's perfectly fine too. It's up to you.
I did want to introduce myself.
Sure.
Ed Field, my wife Shyla here. I've been in on the lot that I live in since 2000. Gone through multiple issues, multiple things. I've slowly but surely bought the other plots along the way. And our long-term goal, our goal for a long time is to put a home on it, an actual home with a basement. So we have shelter during tornado season and stuff. I've been very blessed for 23 years in that mobile home, and it hasn't gone away yet, thank God. So I'm just hoping another couple of years we can get that done and be done with it. So it'd be greatly appreciated if you approve it for our long-term goal, for our goal, and that would be a blessing for us. So we just thank you for your consideration, Bob, for all your hard work. We just thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. All right. Has anybody got anything else? If not, is there any proponents within 1,000 feet? Are there any opponents within 1,000 feet? If not, do I have a motion to close the public hearing and go into our deliberation mode?
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we close the public hearing and go into our deliberation mode. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried 5-0. All right. Eric,
I like it.
okay.
Haven't responded to a fire out there recently, in a rebuilt mobile home. Let's get rid of those mobile homes.
Yeah. Eric, Rita, you got anything else?
No, that's good.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, it's really gonna clean up that site and make it look wonderful. It will.
Yeah.
Agree with what Joe just said.
All right, I think it's a wonderful idea, so, the motion, do I have a motion to approve the request to replat lots 27, 31, 32 of Mobile Gardens along with lots 1 and 2 of Mobile Gardens Units 2 to be together into one lot known as Michaela 2024 edition, as it has been determined that it meets the requirements of the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations.
I'll move that.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the request of the replat. All those, is there any other discussion?
Do we need to include in the motion that the trailers be removed as in accordance with what the staff recommends for the approval,
Prior to the recording of the plat.
right, prior to the recording of the plat?
Yes.
I'd move that we amend the motion to include that.
To the moving of the,
The mobile homes need to be
Yeah.
removed prior to the approval. Final occupation of the.
Prior to the recording of the plat.
all right. So I got a motion to amend the motion by adding the mobile homes will need to be removed before the final plat. Is there a second?
Second,
The moved and seconded that we amend the motion by adding the mobile homes will need to be removed prior to occupancy of the replat. Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried 5-0 on the amendment. So then we'll vote on the regular motion of the first motion of it. You have to vote on both of them. So
Let Bob read to us what it's supposed to say for the total motion with the amendment.
because you got to vote on both of them, so separately. Sure.
I'm pretty sure we have to.
It moved to approve the request to replat lots 27, 20, 31, 32 of Mobile Gardens, along with lots 1 and 2 of Mobile Gardens Unit 2 together into one lot to be known as Michaela Edition or Michaela 2024 Edition, as it has been determined that it meets the requirements of the Riley County Land Development Regulations, with the condition that the unoccupied mobile homes be removed from the site prior to the recording of the final plat.
Okay, we got the specific lane.
All right. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion as Bob read it, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried 5-0.
Can I clarify that Eric moved and
Yes,
Joe seconded?
yes.
Okay, that's correct. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
One last thing.
yes, Bob's got a,
The Board of County Commissioners will hear this request on May 23rd at 10:20 a.m. in these chambers. What was that? The Board of County Commissioners, they'll hear this request May 23rd at 10:20 a.m. in these chambers, same place.
explain to them why the county commissioners do that.
They are responsible for accepting or receiving licenses, easements that or rights of way dedications of development of plat.
Okay.
Yes, this was a replat. There's not really any of that as a formality. They have to
It's just
sign
a
it.
formality,
Yeah,
basically.
they have to sign it in order for it to be recorded with the register of deeds.
Okay.
So, we have to schedule that. Good news, it's not, 3 weeks from now.
Okay.
So, one more step there and
I did it years ago on my piece of property too, so.
So
it's-
we can get sledgehammers ready.
Yeah.
She can't wait.
So anyhow, well, all right, good luck on your future home.
Hey, thank you so much.
You bet, good luck.
Appreciate it.
Take pictures of swinging that sledgehammer.
Sounds like fun to me.
All right, yes, we'll move on to our second item of business tonight underneath the Raleigh County Planning Board. And that will be public hearing at the request of the Raleigh County Planning Board to amend sections
Yeah.
that are listed here in the okay.
Okay.
Bob,
All right, so
Amanda.
Staff brought the proposed amendments for the land development regulations before the Riley County Planning Board and Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board for discussion on March 11th and March 28th respectively. With the exception of some minor grammatical changes suggested by this board, there were no other comments or changes by the board. Planning staff, however, found some duplication of certain uses in the proposed definitions of vehicles and equipment sales and service heavy and vehicles and equipment sales and service light. We thought it best to clean that up or face continued confusion in the interpretation and implementation, excuse me, of the regulation. So other than that, the proposed amendments are the same as discussed at the March 11th meeting. The Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board heard the request unanimously, forwarded a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to approve the amendments as written in the staff report. Those amendments and the reasons for the amendments are listed in your staff reports. I'm available to answer any questions you may have. If not, staff recommends that the Riley County Planning Board forward a recommendation of approval to the Board of County Commissioners. The proposed amendments to the Riley County Land Development Regulations as listed in the staff reports. The Board of County Commissioners will hear this request on May 23rd at 9:50 in these chambers here. So if you have any questions, it's pretty much laid out. Every change has a staff analysis explaining why the need for the change.
So I have a question. I was thinking about this. So here a couple years ago when you hired that consultant to do this. Yeah, Elizabeth. Okay, that was okay. That's what I was thinking. So these are things that were caught after she had helped go through this and
Some
of it.
Some were either oversights. We thought, maybe like, for example, the stock animal one, we thought the conversion from the old regulations to the existing land development regulations. The old regulations had a standard in there as far as stock animals. You know, it's one stock animal per acre. So, but the catch was that the use limitation was only in the large lot, single family residential zoning district. But then when it carried over, it didn't get delegated just to the SF1 zoning as single family residential district. If this was open ended to anything. So as we found out that some people can get an acre of land by replanting and you could have stock animals in an area where it's probably not the most appropriate thing to have. And higher density neighborhoods.
Uh-huh.
And so we felt, you know, that and regarding the residential livestock, other residential livestock like chickens and things that we're trying to allow, you know, given certain, you know, accommodations, you know, certain maximum numbers of chickens and things like that. We didn't want to mess with that, so we had to carefully craft it. So it's really limiting the stock animals to that zoning district. So we said we labeled it the ones that were not. Well, that stock animals would be prohibited.
Okay.
And then so we approached it from that angle. That's one of those things we discovered along the way. And we were just, there was a lot of assumptions coming over or things that were forgotten that, oh, that philosophy shouldn't, that should work out. What's the worst that could happen? And now we're oops. And so, yeah. Some of that. There are some other things I would like to point out. There's one here. The other one I was noticing is like licenses. We found that certain licenses can be, like a building permit, for example, can be transferred.
Well, we don't remember us talking about
We could
that.
do that, yeah, but it was never in the regulations to allow that. It was a word of mouth, I think, with an understanding, and that's not how we should operate.
Right.
And certain things that should not be transferable, like a short-term rental license. Or a forward license, that kind of thing. Let's see if I can find this. This one right here is really important. If I can get that. See if I can center that. Here. So this was one of those things that was suggested by our consultant. And for the life of me, I don't know what happened. That should have been in there. Maybe we thought it was supposed to be a certain way. We thought it didn't get in there. And but the purpose of this is to allow staff to make adjustments to the LDR that are like typos and things like that. Or adjustments to a bullet list where you have the sequences out of sequence somehow, where it should go A, B, C, 1, 2, D. But it doesn't, it goes 4. This should be, you know, that kind of thing. It's just context. And to clarify the language by a word where it should be a word rather than an and or what the intent was. And so this allows staff to make those changes without having to bring it through the public hearing process for something very minor. And so that's one of the things that we needed to get in there. Does that make sense? Bring it down a little bit. There's a few other things that we did, we found, I think, let's see. I think the bigger ones, like the table of land uses, there's some things that are there we needed to take off. This is one of them here. Delete the P, if you will, from the C1, C2, I1, I2 zoning districts for site-built residents. The indication here, this is we used to have in the old regulations the ability to have a residence for either the manager or the owner of the property, manager of the business. But the problem came when people were moving in full-size houses and then on a lot, and then dividing it and then rezoning it to residential right in the middle of a projected, if you will, or ongoing commercial district. And right off the bat, there's conflict. You're bringing the conflict to it. And so, okay, so with this, that what was changed is instead of allowing that, is to allow if there's any sleeping quarters, they have to be within the building of the commercial or industrial building. And I think there was an inference here, well, okay, but if you build that building, isn't the residential portion of that site built as well? Well, it came across as easy to interpret it the other way. I think, no, we were trying to get away from that. And so that's one of those corrections there. There's that license there, another license there. There's that stock animal there. This one with riparian areas, this is another one of those. We felt that there's a bit of an oversight brought to us by our planning compliance specialists to look at this and said, well, it's not going to allow non-agricultural residences. Well, why is that qualified? Is because agriculture structures and uses are exempt from our zoning regulations, so we just had to approach it that way. But what about commercial or industrial buildings or structures? That wasn't even on the list of prohibited activities within a riparian area. So that's why that got put in. And definitions. This was an oversight as well here. I think this was, my opinion, is probably most likely a typo. But this is the when the calculations to and standards for trying to essentially figure out whether or not something is considered a manufactured home of residential design standards that go with it. This is short of having building codes, but in this particular case, this is what we have. And so it didn't make any sense to have, by definition, attached garage. If you happen to have a manufactured home of residential design with an attached garage, that too is part of the principal structure. But what we don't, so that this didn't make any sense. So detached garages can be attached to the principal building by, let's say, a breezeway or even a common roof line, but they're still considered detached. Okay, and because it just doesn't meet the definition of attached. But that was a correction that we felt we needed to make. This was again, this one right here. This was a little bit. Some of these again were like we wanted to reorder the list, so it made it flow better. In this particular case, this had more to do with how many principal structures you can have on the same lot. This is where I was talking about as far as what the staff discovered as far as duplicating uses within one or the other. The big difference here is that we want to relegate the vehicles and equipment sales and service heavy to the light industrial district. Those types of uses. Those with vehicles and equipment sales and service light, those uses that fall in that category, we want to be able to allow that into the highway business or the C2 zoning district. Because those are typical that you would see, like, for example, of light, you would see like Midas and that kind of thing, or Firestone. Those can go into commercial districts and operate fairly well. These other are a little bit more intense as far as noise, odor, fumes, that kind of thing, and dangerous chemicals. So then we wanted to make it clear that up and see it will replace a few things, as you can see, and it will be cleared up on the definitions as well. The other one, finally, I want to get to this one here, is the sexually oriented businesses, and it's explained in your staff report is why we're doing this, and it really came down to a court decision that we did have a resolution of state of nudity or nudity resolution, if we want to call that, for unincorporated area. But once that happened, we had to revise that resolution. And we wanted to make sure that our regulations were consistent with that language in the revised resolution. It's as simple as that. And they added a few things in the resolution that we're going to need to add as well. What you see in italics are the additions. So, yeah, are there any questions on the amendments?
Tell me the difference between a muffler repair shop and the installation or repair of exhaust systems. Because they're included in both definitions. One says for vehicle service heavy, it says this includes but not limited to muffler repair shops, whereas general light or sales and service light, which includes installation or repair of exhaust systems.
Okay, so take a look on screen. I was hoping that you got a new one. I don't think you did.
Apparently not. If it took it out of heavy.
Yeah, it's not there now.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure because
That's
what you
exactly
gave me was different.
That's exactly my point.
Okay.
Because we would have people come in and say, we want to do this.
Mhm.
What do they do?
Yep,
And we had to clarify what we're talking about here. That's the whole point of doing this, is to want to allow flexibility and clarity to what you can and cannot do in as far as automobile, vehicle, equipment, sales, service in a condition or in a commercial district versus, no, sorry, you have to do that in light industrial.
right.
Okay.
All right, if nobody has any other questions for Bob, I don't have any. Anybody else got any questions for Bob? All right, we'll need a motion to move to forward the recommendation of approval to the Board of Commissioners of Raleigh County of the proposed amendments to the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations as published. Is there any other discussion? Oh, sorry.
I'll move
I'm
that.
sorry, I'll back up a minute.
I'll move that.
I'll back up a minute. Okay. I got a second.
I'll say,
It's been moved and seconded to move to forward the recommendation of approval to the,
He announced it earlier.
I'll do it again. Go.
yeah, okay. Approval of to the Board of Commissioners of Raleigh County of the proposed amendment to the Raleigh County Land Development Regulations as published. Okay, now is there any other discussion?
I do have a question. Who seconded? Because it.
Rita, since she hadn't done nothing
Okay.
yet tonight, we'll give it to Rita.
Thanks.
Okay.
If there's no other discussion, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. 5-0.
One last,
So you say May the 23rd.
the Board of County Commissioners for the Commissioners of Raleigh County.
Why don't you just put the,
Sorry, just.
I know what
First title and, okay. The Board of County Commissioners will do the request, May 23rd, at 9:50 a.m. in these chambers. And we have a Mylar out here for y'all, so I appreciate it. Your vote is.
All right. If there's no other business to be brought forward to the Raleigh County Planning Board, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn the Raleigh County Planning Board meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. 5-0. Thank you.
So
Quick, yeah.
speaking of last month's meeting being long,
Yeah. Next month's gonna be longer.
No, the Evergy BOCC hearing has been pushed clear out to July 8th.
Why's that?
They asked for a little bit of time.
Who's they?
Evergy.
We're talking about like a week or.
Oh, it's still on there.
The problem is,
Oh, have you turned off
Nope,
YouTube?